was the last time you truly saw yourself with love? Not just appreciation for your talents and all you do for others, but when did you last look in the mirror and see joy, not stress, strength, not silver hair, and love, not laugh lines? Show of hands if you see yourself with love, as you are in this moment. We all may have reasons we don't feel fully lovable. Every woman you know has something in her past or present that might have dimmed or stopped them. But wouldn't we rather radiate our joy and love as we live without limits into our one wild and precious life? What if you could see yourself with love? What if you could transform your vision of you? See yourself not as the self-critiques you may interpret from the mirror, but to see beyond the surface and see your inner light. To see the woman gazing back at you as wise, warm, resilient, courageous, a leader, a creator, a visionary, all the qualities you already embody. But how do we change the way we see ourselves? It's simple. We play and create portraits that show you through a fresh lens. We shine light on your wow. And when you shift how you see yourself, you shift how you show up in life and how life responds to you. We are wired to be visual supercomputers. Faces are key. From day one, before eye muscles can even focus, babies turn toward their mother's face. Beyond babyhood, when we first meet someone, 60% of our impression in the initial few seconds is all from nonverbal visual cues. It's important information to know and leverage to your advantage because first impressions are lasting. Once our brain decides something, it tends to lens life to support that perspective because it takes energy to change, and familiarity is safe. The same applies with our self-perceptions. If we see ourselves as somehow lacking, our brain's reticular activating system filters inputs to support that belief. To change what we believe about ourselves, seeing ourselves freshly reprograms our reticular activating system so our brains go looking for new evidence to support our upgraded self-vision. Seem like a tall order? Our brains can readjust to a new normal in 30 seconds. We are amazingly adaptive, but two pivotal tools help us get there. One, visuals. We know our brain is a visual supercomputer, and we make instant and lasting assessments based on visual inputs. We believe what we see, and we see what we believe. Number two, awe. Awe is a brain state that enables us to be fascinated rather than fearful by unknowns and uncertainty. So when we step out of our usual way of seeing ourselves, awe supports our redefinition of us. What if we fall in awe with ourselves and see within to our white-hot inner wow? Let me take you on a little journey. Before written language first emerged 6,000 years ago, we made portraits. The oldest known portrait is 27,000 years old and was found in the south of France. Since cave people days, 2000 plus BC, portraits have been prioritized as symbols of power, a record of history, and artistic expression. You might say modern portraiture was born from the ancient celebrity portrait. During the Renaissance, painted portraits became a major genre and started to expand into private families as they commissioned legacy records of their generations. The introduction of the camera in the 20th century took up where painted portraits left off. At first, photography was so expensive that people treated getting their portrait made as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So instead of smiling during a sitting's 5 to 15-second exposure, they wanted to appear thoughtful and serious, as in classic painted portraits. 1839 sees the first recorded photographic self-portrait by Robert Cornelius, then a 30-year-old man, outside on a fall afternoon in Philadelphia for a whopping 10 to 15-minute exposure. Today, we are inundated by the ubiquitous selfie. But do we really see ourselves? Or are we presenting an architected, one-dimensional version of us? What if we saw from our inside out? What if our energy, expressiveness, joy, and freedom to be who we are in the moment captured our true spirit? I thought as a photographer I would never make portraits. Too challenging to create images that people would feel totally happy about. But in a totally unexpected, life-changing workshop, I turned the lens on myself. And I saw my pain that I thought I was hiding from the world, and fell in love with the me who was working so hard to hide my fears. Life since has never felt more meaningful and expansive. You may identify with this image. We all experience times of doubt and lower energies, when we can't see beyond our own belittling beliefs and habits. This is how I felt personally and creatively when a mentor blindsided me with the one-liner that sent my identity in a tailspin. "Where are you in your work?" he asked. "I don't see you." As a photographer, I ironically avoided being in front of the lens, for I intuitively knew how we feel inside is how we show up in the world. And I didn't want to confront seeing how small and unimportant I felt. That is not love. Feeling loveless diminishes us into a shell of ourselves, feeling brittle, rigid, and limited. We may attempt to hide behind accomplishments or relationships that help us feel worthy. That week's images began a 2-year exploration and series in which I turned the lens on myself. And in seeing myself, I found my voice. I remember the moment I held my own gaze in a portrait, unflinchingly. It was the first time I remember seeing myself completely without looking away. For my courage to appreciate myself as I was. It was not a Hallmark card moment, but this is the face of love. Fierce self-love. My presence in my life shifted from that experience. I showed up, grateful for who I was and who I was rising to become. I began to live into my dream to make photography a meaningful gift, especially to women who, like me, might also be hiding in their own lives. And that's what brings magic to our lives, our full appreciation of who we are as we are. Until I felt my own love and wonder and showed up in my life with that energy, I couldn't expect the world to see me in a way I couldn't see myself. We find ourselves in seeing ourselves. Through another's lens, we see ourselves in ways we don't let our eyes gaze upon our reflection in our self-critique mirror. Portraits show us who we forgot we are. When we feel seen, we transform. How do we know this experience is right for us? We might feel many flavors, perhaps lostness, fatigue, longing, or excitement, freedom, and wildness. But most importantly, curiosity. Who is in me who I have lost touch with? Portraits are often the first impression we make with clients, employers, or even love interests. The number one factor in women's success is the confidence we project. Portraits are a powerful tool both for the face we put forward professionally and for our own self-image. As women, we are encultured to be supportive and nurturing of others. But how much do we do that for ourselves? Stepping into our own light is not the icing on the cupcake. It is the cupcake. We, in being our fullest radiance, lift the energy of all around us. So I invite you to leap into you. Each morning we are gifted with life. We can explore whatever about us is curious, fascinating, calling to us. What is in me today that I did not see yesterday? We are a ripple, and we can choose to ripple fear and smallness or light and expansiveness. To see ourselves as expansive and limitless is simply but profoundly our choice. Sometimes we can't possibly know until we dare and take a little tiptoe beyond the comfort of our familiar zone. And maybe we fall down. Maybe it's really uncomfortable. Maybe a lot of things come up for us that we would rather avoid. but in looking at them, in being open to them and to what they show us and to what we might learn from them. That's the only way we expand on our own knowing, our own wisdom. When we honor our inner wisdom and stand in our lights, we truly can move forward in our lives in a meaningful, powerful way. I want to share with you 3 takeaways. First, a self-discovery inquiry. I have 2 questions for you. 1, where are you hiding? Or, phrased other ways, where are you not in your full voice? Where do you feel out of balance? Where might you feel lost? What stories do you insist upon telling that keep you from moving toward your dream? 2, what within us do we shy away from but needs our love? The most powerful medicine for healing is love. I had skin cancer on my toe, and 6 weeks out from running the Chicago Marathon, I had to have surgery. I went back to get the stitches out. It's not a pretty sight, my surgeon warned me, but he said, you have to look at this. You have to love your toe, and that's how you're going to heal. You have to love your toe, your scar, your wound, your pain, the parts of ourselves that we look away from, the parts of ourselves we hide, the parts of ourselves that aren't pretty, that hurt, that are patched together, so we think. That's what needs our love. So when we see ourselves in a way that is beyond the external, celebrated in the most magnificent portraits or most flattering selfies, that's where we can let our love in. That's how we heal. Second takeaway, we can discover ourselves and our limitlessness daily. Did Einstein say, I'm just not enough, I'm not brilliant because I couldn't get quantum theory? No! He walked around the Princeton campus every morning wearing his pajamas, letting ideas percolate until he got it. It's an infinite process expanding into our limitlessness. With each morning, we can appreciate ourselves anew. I have a powerful, playful practice for you. It is most transformative when you make it part of your morning ritual for a month, possibly a lifetime. When you wake, before you do what you do to present yourself to the world, gift yourself an honest moment, just you and your phone. Take a daring self-portrait, one that ignites your fierceness, your gentleness, your compassion, your mystery, your glow. Whatever you are feeling is your strength or truth in that moment, capture it. It is your touchstone for the day, reminding you as you glance at it that you are your own lighthouse. We are infinite when we let ourselves be. When we lie to ourselves and tell fibs that we are limited or we are less than, then absolutely our lives become limited and less than. And that's how we show up in life. And people forget about us because, by God, we forgot about ourselves. But when we dare and say, I own my worth and I contribute and I matter and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm tiptoeing in. This I can do. I can make this tiptoe. And the next day I can tiptoe a little further. That's a life fully expressed and celebrated. That's a life of showing up and shining, of claiming, like the earliest cave painters, that we matter. What if we lived into our inner wow? We'd live unstoppable. Remember, we are a ripple. When we radiate our light, others radiate theirs. So third takeaway, I invite you to that celebration of you, this new chapter of transforming how you show up in life. Are you ready to shift your vision of you? It begins within, with love. Together, we create portraits that are joyous, expressive, that capture your vibrance, sparkle, and strength. You are not a cookie-cutter woman fitting neatly into a spreadsheet. You are a glorious, organic, and wild gift to this world. Sometimes we need to be reminded of that. Let's play. Our portrait sessions are fun, a combination of design and improv, and your final series captures your light with love. I'm an award-winning portrait photographer, internationally exhibited, who specializes in creating empowering portraits with the camera shy. My why? When we celebrate ourselves as we are, we rise. And as we step into our own light, we uplift others. Don't be a watered down version of you. Be a new vision. Be your vision. We are not a formula, nor should our portrait session be. So swing by LizStubbsPhotography.com for a visit and book a free consult. Bring all your questions, fears, and dreams. I look forward to knowing you.